y'all? Josh and Isi here once again with another quality video. Alright y'all, as you can see from the title, we are gonna go over just kind of our thoughts and opinions on things.
With this coronavirus.
With the coronavirus going around. I know a lot of you, if you're keeping up with the news, you've seen a lot of updates about city shutdowns and things of that nature. So yeah, I'm a little more obsessive over this than a lot of people. As you've probably seen from some of my posts on either Facebook or on Instagram, I've kind of been warning people. So I'm just gonna give you my 2 cents on it, and then she can give you her 2 cents on it, and then we will go from there. But first, let's show you guys our food. So I made this myself. Turn up. All right, so underneath that sauce right there is some salmon. I got a nice salmon with some dirty rice and mashed potatoes going on.
Salmon Yvette.
Salmon Yvette. It's one of the dishes at Papa Dough. They're not sponsoring this, but shouts out to y'all.
We are gonna go ahead and pray and hop into this topic of conversation.
Okay, Lord bless this food they're about to receive for nourishment our bodies. Help it to bless us. Help this video to bless other people, to take more precaution. Bless those who are going through sickness and illness right now with the corona. Bless the families. Bless the people that are being affected by this, even if they're not being directly affected with the disease itself, because I know there's a lot of things that are going on. We ask that you just watch over us, remain in control as we know you are, and these and other blessings we ask in your name.
Amen. Now, a lot of people might not know this, because actually whenever people run into us here, they're always surprised we're from Chicago. You didn't know, we live in Illinois. And yesterday, isn't that when the governor said something?
So yesterday, the governor basically shut down restaurants.
And bars.
And bars, which I work at a restaurant.
The whole state of Illinois?
The whole state. So he officially sanctioned that restaurants be closed only for to-go business. And at first, I was even kind of mad that we still have to come in to do to-go business, because that's just more risk of the virus being spread. But looking at what's happening to the state right now, most grocery stores' shelves are completely empty.
Bruh.
It's kind of ridiculous. Luckily, we kind of already stocked up on food just in case, for the just in case purposes.
Right, but there's a difference between stocked up and just being selfish and inconsiderate. Our stocking up is like food that we know will last us a good month or so, whether it just be me and Josh, me, Josh, and my mom, me, Josh, and my friends, just stuff like that. But like, there was one time I went shopping right before this really hit, because Josh kind of called it a little bit early. Like, I don't know, I think something's gonna go on, I think something's gonna go down. People are already catching on, because when I went shopping like 4 or 5 days ago, the whole toilet paper aisle in Walmart was empty. The whole thing. And the only place I found some was like a local store. So by the way, if you're someone who is in need of like meats or toilet paper or just toiletry, definitely try like local grocery stores and stuff like that, rather than like, local businesses, rather than like Walmart and Target, because those are gonna be out. Dollar Tree, probably Dollar General, also stuff like that.
7-Elevens.
Yeah, I got a lot of our stuff from my local grocery store, as well as like Dollar Tree, 7-Eleven. There was this one guy, he had 13 Lysol cans in his cart. 13, and all the rest of them were gone, and I was just thinking,
that's very selfish.
That's so selfish and just unnecessary.
Very selfish.
It's sad what we're going through right now, because it's really showing people's true colors and just how crazy.
Showing they booties right now.
Yeah.
Man. But my whole thing on this whole situation, because I hear both sides of the argument. Like, some people are like, oh, it's just a virus, it'll pass. And then there's other people that are saying like, we should be concerned. I'm on the we should be concerned side, because sitting around and just saying like, oh, it'll be all good, I feel like that's a very selfish mentality.
That, and anytime people are dying,
yes,
it's not okay.
If you don't know or catch up with the news, you should probably at least dive into some partial news on what's going on. I'm sure your phones are probably just blowing up with notifications about different things, but like, let's just look at what's been happening around the world. So China completely shut down everything, told people you're quarantined to your home. Now San Francisco,
right, as of today,
has quarantined everybody for 3 weeks. You're confined to your home unless there's an emergency.
24 hours.
24-hour
3 weeks.
lockdown for
Can't
3
go nowhere.
weeks. Chicago, slowly but surely, we're shutting down businesses, schools, everything. And they might leave the grocery stores open, but if you go to any grocery, there's not gonna be any groceries on the shelf. I went to Walmart, there was nothing else. I couldn't find anything that I needed that would last me a long time, because people have bought up all the non-perishables.
Right.
Then I went to Pete's, which is like kind of a local grocery store. The wait in line is 2.5 hours, and all the stuff from the shelves is in people's carts.
Yep.
I don't know if people think that this is some kind of joke or game. And yes, I understand that, like, okay, it might be a virus. It doesn't kill most people who have a healthy immune system. But look out for the people around you. Like, let's not be selfish. There are older people with weak immune systems. You probably have somebody in your family that has a weak immune system, or is like a habitual smoker with bad lungs, or somebody that has like some kind of autoimmune deficiency. These people are at a very high risk of death. Maybe not us because we're healthy.
But we can still get sick.
Yeah, we can still get sick. It's
Nobody's
still
safe.
Uncomfortable sickness at the end of the day. And the fact that if you don't know you have it for 2 weeks, you go touch a loved one, you just gave them something that could potentially kill them. I understand that you don't want people to panic, and I don't want panic to break out, but I do want caution and consideration for the whole to at least be passed on. Because if not, we're just gonna all look like Spain, who are on, 24-hour lockdowns? A lot of these countries, especially in Europe, are being locked down one by one because no one is taking this seriously. There's been messages. There's a post I seen on Facebook. It was like they basically asked a bunch of people in Europe to send videos to everybody else in the world and tell them what's going on. And they were like, 10 days ago, everything was all good. We thought, it's just a virus, it'll pass. And now the whole country's on lockdown. We go to the grocery store, there's no groceries. We don't know what to do. It's more serious than what people think. And like, it kind of drives you crazy when you're said, oh, you have to be confined to your home.
And the crazy thing is too, I was telling Josh, like, to this day, even though this has been going on, what you say, like 2 weeks now, kind of, but it is the biggest it's been, as big of a deal as it's been currently. But like, it still kind of feels like it's not real. Like, I'm living in a dream. Like, I'm just hearing stuff on the news. But I think it's because as of right now, hopefully and prayerfully it stays that way, it hasn't personally affected me in my life.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like I'm looking outside and I'm like, is it really that crazy right now going on? What craziness going on in the world? It just hasn't sunk in yet. Because this is just something like you're gonna read about, people are gonna read about in history books. Like the last, I looked it up when I first found out it was a pandemic happening, and the last one that's ever happened is in 1918. But the thing my brother was saying was that back in 1918 they didn't have transportation like they do now. They didn't have airplanes and stuff, and 50 million people died back then. Now we have traveling from boats. That was the only way that they could travel. Whereas now we have these airports, which I'm still surprised they have not shut down yet, to be honest with you. The NBA has shut down, the NFL has shut down. Like, this isn't, people are kind of saying it's not a big deal, but it is.
If it wasn't a big deal, we wouldn't be shutting stuff down. We've seen swine flu pass through. And that's H1N1, I believe. You've seen that one come through. Ebola come through. Another case of influenza come through. There's been a bunch of sicknesses that have come through in our history that we haven't locked down the world for.
Right.
You have to like take into account, like, okay, I'm all for a good conspiracy theory, right? I'm all ears. I listen to them. I hear them all the time. At the end of the day, conspiracy or not, it's really happening that places are shutting down. It's really happening that food is going on limited supply.
Right.
It's really happening that people are getting sick and dying. So why are we still trying to make light of the situation?
Right.
Is my thing. It's like a sick game of tag, and you don't know you have it until it's kind of a little too late. Between that time of you realizing you had it and you didn't have it, how many things did you touch that weren't desanitized or uninfected?
Right. I also feel like people aren't taking it as seriously because you're seeing the ratios of like death to cases. Now, in terms of like the death thing, it still should be taken seriously, but I don't think people really understand the reason it's becoming such a big deal is because hospitals are running out of space.
They're running out of room.
Like supplies and kits and stuff. So that's what they're trying to prevent with like shutting down stuff and making people quarantine. It's not just a matter of like making sure people don't die. It's making sure that they're able to treat all the people that get sick and prevent more people getting sick. So
and not just sick people from this. There's still other diseases and things that need to be fixed in society. It's not just the coronavirus that's out there. There's influenza. There's definitely bronchitis. There's cancer. I mean, there's places for all these things, but they can't keep coronavirus and sickly people with other diseases in the same building.
They're running out of space.
They're running out. It happened in Italy. Again, let's just reference what's going on in the rest of the world.
Because it hit there first, right?
It's just broken out the most. It hit China first, but it's broken out a lot in Europe. So right now, they basically ran out of beds in certain parts of Europe. I believe it was Italy, if I'm correct from what I saw. Basically saying that anybody over the age of 80 can't get a bed. They're practically surviving.
Natural selection.
Yes, natural selection. I get where they're coming from. I don't agree with it because they're treating it as if it was war times. So in times of war, they basically hold on to the strong people that they think will pull through, and and then the people that they don't think have a chance, they basically
leave to the wayside.
Yes, they leave to the wayside. It's a very sick philosophy, but in war times or in times like this, they're basically counting on people to either survive or get naturally selected off.
What do you think they should do then?
I don't know what they should do.
I don't think anybody knows what to do.
No one knows. The last time something like this happened, I wasn't born. 90 years.
My mom wasn't even born.
What? My parents weren't even born.
Yeah, this is wild.
My grandparents were kids. Anybody in the White House right now has not seen a pandemic. No one on this earth has seen a pandemic unless you were just 100-something years old out here kicking it and you were a baby.
Oh, true.
I really want people to just take time to not just think about yourself and your own health. Yes, you might be fine. But there is an entire world of people out here that could potentially die from this. And I just don't want to see the death toll keep climbing while we just kind of...
Or survive, like just food supplies wise. There's so many different compartments of this situation. It's sad.
I don't want to chalk it up and just say, hey, we're just going to wing it until it's gone. That's no good. I feel like a serious precaution needs to be taking place. Not only that, it's affecting the entire economy. When you go back to work...
Right. People are going to lose their jobs.
People are going to lose their job. Businesses are shutting down. They can't afford to keep up expenses.
It's like another Great Depression.
Yes.
It's going to be a Great Depression.
We're like sloping right into a depression.
It's wild.
It's very wild. I think I just saw a post today. Trump said that like the bulk of this whole fanatic, if we do everything correctly, he was being generous, I'm pretty sure, but he said July or August.
Will this be over?
Yes, that we can finally get rid of the fears of the pandemic still coming around.
He said this?
Yes, it was in a statement. I'm going to look up the statement. I promise you. NPR. It said, Trump also cautioned it could be a while before the virus abates. It seems to me if we do a really good job, it could be July or August until the threat of the pandemic diminishes. Now, you know Trump ain't smart enough to come up with this on his own. So somebody smarter than him told him to say this. Somebody that knows what's going on said, hey, you need to warn these people that it's gonna be a little while till we get over this. The first case showed up in China last year. They're just getting over the hump. That was months ago. We're just now starting to see glimpses of it and we're starting to panic and shut everything down. We're not even at the head of this monster, whatever this is. Now, we're on a 2-week, no restaurants, bars, whatever.
For Illinois, not the whole country has said something yet.
Yeah, no, there's only like a select few states that are doing it. I think New York has a curfew. We have one.
I know almost all states are starting to say no large gatherings.
No large gatherings. Yeah, that's nationwide, no large gatherings. Oh, we were supposed to go to Disney World. That didn't happen.
Right? Oh, I don't know how I forgot to mention that. We, present day right now,
should have been.
16th.
Yes.
We're supposed to be in Orlando right now with friends, riding on roller coasters and stuff.
Having a great time. And not 10 days ago, we thought everything was
We were excited. We was like, y'all ready?
It was rocking. I had fits on deck, ready to go.
I had packed, and then it all came out.
Then they started shutting one thing after another down, and then we were like, all right,
they shut down Disneyland and
Disneyland, then Disney World, then
Universal, right? And we were just like, oh, it's over.
No.
It's over.
You know what's even crazier?
What?
You know the wait time right now for clearance to get through the airport is 5 hours because they have to screen you, make sure you don't have the virus, and then put you on the plane. So now, if you had a 6:30 flight, you got to get there dang near noon to get to your flight.
The crazy thing is too, we were a little bit hesitant on going to Orlando also because we were going to be there for like a week. So
we were scared.
Yeah, we didn't know if we were going to be able to come back home.
That's the
if something
part.
was going to hit. So I think everything kind of worked out the way it should have anyway, because us getting stuck in Orlando
would have been tragic.
No place to stay. That would have been a mess. Even right now, being just at home still feels like
kind of jumbled up and crazy. I'll be the first to admit that when I first heard about it in China, I was like, oh, that's China's problem. And then they said it was in America. And once I heard it was in America, I was like, dang, that was weird.
It was like,
There was one case in Illinois 3 weeks ago. It might be more than that now.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
But I remember...
No, it's like 3 weeks ago. 2-3 weeks ago.
One case showed up, and then within 2 weeks, there was like 100 plus. And I was like, wow, it's really crazy how fast that can spread because no one knew they had it.
Right.
That first person probably didn't even know they had it for the first couple weeks.
But so I'm confused kind of still though of how it transfers.
All right, so
like if I cough on this right now and I had it, you have it now.
From what I've heard is that if it's a sneeze or like some kind of projectile, the particles will stay in the air for about 10 seconds until falling to the ground.
But this is my problem with how fast it's spreading. Do people not have manners? Do people not
No one's
Cover
taking
their
it
mouth?
serious.
I just
That's
don't
the
understand.
No one is taking it serious enough to take the precautions necessary to stop a pandemic.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't even view it as a precaution. I think it's just a courtesy thing. I would never sneeze with my mouth open or cough or.
But there are ways to protect yourself. So let's go over those. For starters, stay away from people.
Josh.
Like, no, I'm serious, man. If you're going to a crowd of people, you're asking for trouble.
Stay out of crowds.
Anything 10 or more, you're asking for trouble. Because there's 10 different lifestyles where you don't know what they've touched, the stuff that they've touched, who they've been around. It's too many variables. You can't keep track of all that. So that's no good. You really need to stock up. If you have the capabilities or the places to stock up on food, I would say do so just off the principle that if it does shut down, you have at least something to feed your family. There are a lot of families out here that used to rely on schools for their lunches. They don't have schools. Not to mention all the other problems that are taking place in the world.
Right.
Like Africa is having a locust issue. East Africa.
It's like, what were those plagues?
Y'all, you might not be religious, you might be religious, but y'all need to repent.
Don't seem like plagues kind of.
You need to repent. If you think that the end times aren't near, I would just say, even if you aren't religious, I'd say a couple prayers on GP. But I'm praying
GP.
General purposes. At this point, I'm assured in the fact that God's in control, but I'm also woke in the fact that God isn't finna sit here and hold my hand to take precautions.
Right.
You can trust the Lord and still take your time and get precautions. Like the Lord informed Noah about a flood. He didn't just sit there. He went and built a boat.
I know ramen noodles aren't good, y'all, for us.
I got a bunch.
Get you some ramen noodles.
I ordered it off Amazon. If you can go on Amazon, you can find it on Amazon. If you go to your local 7-Eleven, they probably got the little cups. That's where I found a couple more there.
Or your local grocery store, again, because I stocked up there.
We stock up.
So
and
worst comes to worst.
Ramen noodles. Water, even though honestly, tap won't kill you.
Water.
Tap won't kill you guys though. If you really need water, do not just
boil it. You can boil it.
You can use tap, boil it, and then put it in a bottle and put it in the fridge if you want it cold.
Right.
But another thing to keep you healthy is to drink warm water every 15 minutes. So you really should be using hot water, but that's another one of those precaution measures. Wash your hands. 30 seconds with the water as hot as your hands can stand it, and you need to be actively scrubbing with soap. Actively scrubbing with soap. I feel like this is our due diligence as influencers to at least influence somebody to take precaution, because otherwise we're as worse as everybody else that just says, oh, it's no biggie.
Yeah, I'm past that point now.
I don't know about y'all, but I have family that could really be affected by this. And I'm scared for them. So I would hope that other people would have a heart and at least take precaution instead of fueling the fire. I think we've touched on it enough. Look, this was Emergency Eat and Chill off of epidemic/pandemic. Y'all need to wash your hands, wash your booties, stop talking to large groups of people. You really need to just do your research. Go look at what's happening in other countries. If you can, reach out to somebody in another country and ask them what's going on. Or just reach out to the people in San Francisco who now are being confined to their homes for the next 3 weeks. Take it serious, please.
Right.
It's a pandemic.
They know something we don't know.
And I promise y'all, if y'all start trying to hit me with conspiracies down in the comments, I'm literally just gonna look at you and shake my head. I'm not even gonna flex, because at the end of the day, conspiracy or not, people are dying, cities are shutting down. Those are facts. So conspiracies are not necessarily facts. Conspiracies are conspiracies. Facts are facts. But yeah, that's all we have for you guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll have some other content because we're going to be confined to our homes. So be on the lookout for...
Yeah, turn your post notification bell on.
Turn them all the way up.
Content for you guys.
We'll
a lot of
keep you guys entertained throughout this, whatever this quarantine is. We're just going to be here kicking it, making videos. If you don't already know, Hydrated Hero, she's African Beauty. Together with Josh and EC, you could follow one of us. You could follow both of us. You could follow all three of us. You might as well follow all three of us because we're happy, healthy, and hydrated on all three. Drink some more water. Stay safe. Stay healthy. We love you guys. Peace, love, hair grease, and we out.
Right there.
Right there. I'm looking at it. Subscribe. You want to click that button.
You know you
click it.
Also, check this video out right here. You might as well.
That's quality.
Quality content.
It's quality.
And
of course,
you might as well be right here.
You might as well be
right there.
Because this one's quality too. All this
quality.
You click anything you want.
Quality.